Hare Krishna, everyone. Let me share my screen for you. Let us sing Jai Radha Madhava before we start. Welcome all the devotees for the today Saturday morning Bhagavatam class. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaram Janam Yashodanandana Vraja Janaram Janam Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaram Janam Yashodanandana Vraja Janaram Janam Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivajikacharya Stotra Satasya Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayam Udhirayet. Shunnatam Swakada Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Hrudayantasto hi abhadrani vidnoti suhritim satam nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevayam. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namo Pankajanabhaya Nama Pankajamaline Nama Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangriye. Hare Krishna. So the verse today we are talking about is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, text number 9. I will recite the verse and then we'll continue the discussion. Abhimanyu sutam suta prahur bhagavatottamam tasya janma mahascharyam karmani cha grunihina. Abhimanyu sutam suta prahur bhagavatottamam tasya janma mahascharyam karmani cha grunihina. Abhimanyu sutam suta prahur bhagavatottamam tasya janma mahascharyam karmani cha grunihina. And devotees can repeat this.
Abhimanyu sutam sutha prahur bhagavatottamam tasya janma mahascharyam karmani cha grinihinaha.
Abhimanyu. Go ahead, Mataji.
Go ahead, Mataji, please.
Abhimanyu sutam suta prahur bhagavata uttamam tasya janma mahascharyam karmani cha grihinaha.
Abhimanyu sutam suta prahur bhagavatottamam tasya janma mahascharyam karmani cha grinihina.
Thank you, Mataji and Prabhus. Let us go word by word meaning. Abhimanyu Sutam, the son of Abhimanyu. Suta, O Suta, Prahu is said to be Bhagavata Uttamam, the first class devotee of the Lord. Tasya, his Janma, birth. Maha Ascharyam, very wonderful. Karmani, activities. Cha, and Grunehi, please speak to Na, us. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him. About purport. The birth of Maharaj Parikshit is wonderful because in the womb of his mother, he was protected by the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. His activities are also wonderful because he chastised Kali, who was attempting to kill a cow. To kill a cow means to end human civilization. To kill a cow means to end human civilization. He wanted to protect the cow from being killed by the great representative of the sin. His death is also wonderful because he got previous notice of his death, which is wonderful for any mortal being. And thus he prepared himself for passing away by sitting down on the bank of the Ganges and hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord. During all the days, he heard Srimad Bhagavatam. He did not take food or drink, nor did he sleep for a moment. So everything about him is wonderful, and his activities are worth hearing attentively. The desire is expressed hearing to hear about him in detail. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Hi Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Tadantika Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpata Rubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhavevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa Di Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'll stop here and I'll do my presentation. You able to see presentation, Prabhu?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we are talking today, the verse, text number 9. I think I'm not giving much background of the context that we are talking about. We know that all the sages are already asked the questions, and many of the questions are asked in the second chapter. But still, the sages headed by Saunaka, they were actually interested to asking many other further questions to Suta Goswami. So, and this question actually here, Abhimanyu Sutam. Here actually Suta is mentioned 2 times in the text. Suta. But there is a difference here. One is actually Abhimanyu Sutam, and the other one is actually Suta. There is a line there. So the first one is actually refers to Parikshit Maharaj. He is the son of Abhimanyu, and the second Suta is actually representing actually Suta Goswami, who is asking this question on behalf of all the sages. Saunaka Rishi is asking about this question. So Prahur Bhagavatottamam is saying that Parikshit Maharaj is referred as Bhagavatottamam. He is not just Bhagavata. He was topmost devotee or first class devotee. That is why he is called Bhagavatottamam. Tasya Janma Maha Ascharyam. It's very wonderful. What? His Janma, his birth, and not only Janma, his Karma, his activities, and Cha Drunihina. So therefore, these sages are very much interested to know the glories of the Parikshit Maharaj. So first here Parikshit Maharaj, okay, let me go to the purport. So first actually 2 questions started with Saunaka is actually praising Suta Goswami, and then third question is actually, we know that Srimad Bhagavatam, they asked about the question, and then from text 4 to 8, all the questions are related to Sukadeva Goswami. And now today we are entering into text number 9. From text number 9 to 12, the sages are asking about glories of Parikshit Maharaj, how he is able to give up everything, and how he actually got the curse, and how he is able to spend his last days. Actually, these sages want to know furthermore. That's why these questions are asked by sages. And in fact, this question is answered in end of this canto, text chapter 16, chapter 17, chapter 18 actually talks about further how about Parikshit Maharaj in detail. We will go to few more verses today also. And Parikshit Maharaj, during that time, they used to call these they're not only kings, they are Raja Rishis. They used to say the Raja Rishi. Raja means king and Rishi means is a saintly person. So Parikshit Maharaj is a Raja Rishi. He is not just a king. Of course, he is a king of entire world. That is what is referred throughout the Bhagavatam. So, but still he is a Raja Rishi. So during those times, we saw so many other characters in Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, even in Ramayana also, of course, Janaka Maharaj is also Raja Rishi. And similarly, we saw so many characters in Prahlad Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, and Prudu Maharaj. They are all king, they are all rulers, but still they are Raja Rishis because they are also saintly people. They are pure devotees of the Lord at the same time. So what we are talking about today, the glories of Parikshit Maharaj. His birth is wonderful. His activities are wonderful. His death is also wonderful. Generally, if we see any personality, sometimes they are glorious by birth, or sometimes not only they have a normal birth, but at the same by the activities they become so glorious. Or some people actually by death they will be glorious. But the speciality of Parikshit Maharaj here is that his birth is also wonderful, his activities are also wonderful, his death is also wonderful. That's what Prabhupada mentions in the purport. So now let us see how his birth is wonderful. So generally, I mean, today, as we said, the verse is actually dedicated to Parikshit Maharaj. We are going to talk about Parikshit Maharaj a little bit more. But I'm not going to tell something that we do not know here, because we are hearing about Parikshit Maharaj so many times. And of course, hearing about pure devotees, actually, more and more, sometimes we may feel that we know about Parikshit Maharaj, we know about Sukadeva Goswami, but hearing about the pure devotees of the Lord actually cleanses our heart, and also it melts our steel-framed heart. And by hearing again and again, and then the loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, some starts in our heart. So therefore, it's even Mahaprabhu also exemplified the same principle that he used to hear Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj several hundreds of times, and as if he was hearing first time, he used to relish the past time. So we'll talk a little bit about Parikshit Maharaj today. So in the Canto 3, chapter 13:4, it said that Sutasya Pumsham Suchira Sramasya Nanva Ajnasa Surabhir Idato Ardha Tadad Gunanusravanam Mukunda Padara Vindam Rudayeshu Yesham. So persons who hear from spiritual master with great labor and for a long time must hear from the mouths of the pure devotee about the character and activities of pure devotees. Pure devotees always think within their heart of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, who awards his devotees liberation. And Prabhupada writes in the same purport, the devotees, however, realize the presence of the Lord, and therefore they can always see the lotus feet of the Lord within their hearts. Such pure devotees of the Lord are as glorious as the Lord. They are in fact recommended by the Lord as more worshipable than he himself. Worship of the devotee is more potent than worship of the Lord. This is what purports the Prabhupada is mentioning here again, that not only just we hear about the Lord, activities of the Lord, but they must also hear about the transcendental qualities of the devotees who are constantly thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord within their hearts. Therefore, Parikshit is considered here Mahabhagavat. He is topmost devotee, he is first class devotee. So therefore, hearing the glories of Parikshit Maharaj is actually more important in one sense, even hearing about the Lord. That is what Lord himself is saying. So, in the purport, Prabhupada said, the birth of Maharaj Parikshit is wonderful because in the womb of his mother, he was protected by the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. His activities are also wonderful because he chastised Kali, who was attempting to kill a cow. generally it does not happen. One can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the womb of a mother. The birth of Maharaj Parikshit is so wonderful because he is able to see the Supreme Lord even before even coming, in the womb of his mother. So therefore, that is why his name is Parikshit, because he was examining the Lord. Where is that Lord who actually protected me in my mother's? That is why his name is actually Parikshit, because he was examining Pariksha. But one more name he has, that Vishnu Rad. Vishnu Rad, because he saw Lord Vishnu in the womb of his mother. And also Sukha Maharshi, Sukadev Goswami also called here actually Brahma Rad. Parikshit is called as Vishnu Rad, is his name. And then Sukadev Goswami name is also called Brahma Rad. So he was fortunate to have darshan of the Lord. And also not only having darshan of the Lord, his activities are also completely aligned with the teachings of the Lord. That is why his activities also so wonderful. So it is an arrangement of the Lord that this Vishnu Rad is actually hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam from the Brahma Rad. So Uttara is carrying the baby Parikshit. If you go back the story in the end of the Mahabharata war, Dronacharya and Ashwadhama, who is the son of Dronacharya was killed by Pandavas. And end of the war, even Duryodhana is fell down on the ground. And now Ashwadhama actually also fighting on behalf of Kauravas, on Kauravas side. So now after the end of the war, for Ashwadhama, he still wants to please his master Duryodhana. Somehow reason he wants to kill Pandavas. So he planned that somehow reason I will going to kill Pandavas today, and then I will cut off the heads and I will show it to my master Duryodhana. So that is his plan. And then he went to the place where they were sleeping in the night. And in fact, actually, he went and killed the sleeping sons of all Draupadi. So that is the against of the code of the conduct. Though the 5 husbands, she got 5 sons, they were actually sleeping. Actually, this foolish Ashwadhama thought that actually they're all Pandavas, thinking that they're Pandavas sleeping. They cut off their heads. And then he took those heads to his master Duryodhana, and he showed Duryodhana that today, see, I killed all the Pandavas. And then Duryodhana wake up and saw that no, you are saying wrong. They are not Pandavas. They are actually Upa Pandavas. They are all sons of Pandavas. So then Ashwadhama realized he killed the sons of Pandavas, not exactly Pandavas. The moment the news was heard by Draupadi, being a mother, in front of her, the 5 sons are killed. Therefore, she became a little bit angry towards Ashwadhama. And not only that, he was feeling the pain of separation from his children. By seeing that angry and pain of separation, Arjuna also got so much angry, and he was saying that today I am going to kill Ashwadhama. Nobody can stop. Today I am going to kill Ashwadhama. So he started going and searching, and somehow or other he caught Ashwadhama, and then he's supposed to kill. Even Krishna also encouraged him to kill at that time. But at that time Draupadi came and she said, I know the pain of separation from my children, and I don't want same thing to happen to Krupi, who is the mother of Ashwadhama. She's already having a lot of pain and separation because his husband Dronacharya left. She became alone, and now she was left alone even without his son. Then I can understand the pain of separation for her. So therefore, now we can see the quality of Vaishnava. Here Draupadi was feeling so much of separation, so much of pain, and she doesn't want to inflict the same kind of pain to another mother. Therefore, she stopped there. So then Arjuna insulted by removing his money on his head, and not only that, he removed the hair, complete hair. So for Kshatriya, insult is more than death. Therefore, Arjuna sent like that. But now after that, what happened? He did not forget that insult, Ashwadhama. Somehow or other, he still wants to harm the last one in the generation of Pandavas, who is what? That is the child in the womb of Uttara. He is the last one in the Pandus. He decided to kill that child in the womb of her mother, and he decided to release the Brahmastra so that the child will be killed and there will be no descendants in the for Pandavas. So that is why he released his Brahmastra. The moment the Brahmastra was released, and immediately she started feeling the heat. The Uttara is feeling heat in her womb, and immediately she was praying to Krishna. If my dear Lord, he is the last one in my womb. So even if I am killed, I am fine. But please kindly save my child in the womb. So the moment Uttara was praying, Krishna heard those prayers, and then Krishna entered into the womb of Uttara, and then he saved in the womb the child. That is why the birth of Maharaj Parikshit is so glorious. So now, and not only that, the Lord saved, and also the moment he was born, also his activities are completely aligned with the teachings of the Lord. He engaged completely in the devotional service since beginning of childhood. Now let us see, his activities are also wonderful here. So when he exhibited angry externally and able to chastise the Kali Purusha, but he did not exhibit anger internally when he was cursed by the son of sage Shrungi. So he exhibited so anger when he understand Kali entered into his kingdom, and then he's able to chastise with so much of anger. He started immediately when he understands the Kali is entered into his kingdom. He started his not only chariot immediately by himself. He did not send any representative to see the Kali Purusha. He immediately himself started with chariot, and he took out his sword. He immediately want to kill the Kali because he doesn't want any Kali symptoms to enter into his kingdom. So therefore, he exhibited so much anger the moment he heard that Kali is going to enter into in his kingdom. But he did not exhibit anger internally when he was cursed by the son of the sage Shrungi. So he was silent. So that is the quality of Parikshit Maharaj. So now, the moment actually he heard about Kali, he could not tolerate, and he was searching about Kali. And personification of Kali Yuga, he dressed like a king. He was looking like a king and by dress, but the activities are like a Sudra. And he was trying to kill the bull and the cow. And this is the first time he saw Parikshit Maharaj in his kingdom. So he knows Kali Yuga is destined to come after Lord Krishna left this planet, and after Pandavas left this planet, Kali is going to enter. He knows that. But even though he knows Kali Yuga is going to come and nobody can stop that, but still he did not deviate from his duty. His duty as a Kshatriya, he wants to protect all the citizens from the ill side effects of the Kali. Therefore, as long as he is in the ruling the kingdom, he doesn't want Kali to enter into his kingdom. So therefore, he did not deviate from his duty. Whatever fact that he knows that he did not, but at the same time, Kali and Venta asked his forgiveness. He said that I am also a citizen of your citizen, but where can I go? So please kindly give me shelter where I can stay. So Kali actually is surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj, and he will ask that, and we will see how Parikshit Maharaj is going to respond to that. Not only, and this is one thing, and also Why he's wonderful? Because all the incarnations of the Lord appeared in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam because of the questions asked by Parikshit. Therefore, his questions are also glorious. Because of his question to Sukadeva Goswami, today all the incarnations of the Supreme Lord appeared in the pages of Bhagavatam because of Parikshit Maharaj. Generally, the Lord incarnates specifically to save one devotee or a specific devotee. For example, if you say Prahlad Maharaj, his appearance is actually to save Prahlad Maharaj, but external reason is actually to kill all the asuras. That is external reason. But generally, the incarnation of the Lord happens for some reason to save the devotee or to annihilate the devotees. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharat. But here, because of Parikshit Maharaj, the incarnations of the Supreme Lord appeared in the pages of Bhagavatam so that we can read and relish and take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is another wonderful activity of Parikshit Maharaj. And also he wants to know more about great personalities, his pinnacle of success. So these are all the activities of the Parikshit Maharaj, so wonderful. Now we'll see some of the purports. Prabhupada, what he talks about. In Canto 1, Chapter 17, 38, Sukta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, thus being petitioned by the personality of Kali, gave him permission to reside in places where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter were performed. When Kali was actually pleading to Maharaj Parikshit, show me some place where I can stay here. Where can I go? Because I am also citizen of your kingdom. Then after pleading, Parikshit Maharaj gave, there are 4 places for Kali to stay, where there are gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. Wherever these activities are performed, Kali can take shelter of those places. In this purport I put here, because there are beautiful points, Prabhupada actually mentioned very practical points for even in the age of Kali Yuga, how one can actually take shelter of these principles. The state administrators really take these principles. Even in the Kali Yuga also, we can re-establish the principles of dharma. So following in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit, it is the duty of all the executive heads of states to see that the principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, are established in the state. The state which wants to eradicate corruption by majority may introduce the principles of religion in the following manner. And Prabhupada is saying, he was giving several points to follow. Then now we can re-establish the principles of religion which are lost even in the Kali Yuga, can be re-established. The first one he was telling 2 compulsory fasting days in a month. If not more, austerity, even from the economic point of view, such 2 fastings day in a month in the state will save tons of food, and the system will act very favorably on the general health of the citizens. So Prabhupada wants all the citizens to follow 2 fastings compulsory, not only spiritual benefit, even economic benefit also there is a lot of food is saved. And second thing Prabhupada is talking about here, there must be compulsory marriage of young boys and girls attaining 24 years and age 16 years of age respectively. There is no harm in co-education in the schools and colleges, provided the boys and girls are duly married. And in case there is an intimate connection between a male and female student, they should be married properly without illicit relation. The Divorce Act is encouraging prostitution, and this should be abolished. So this is another practical instruction Prabhupada is giving in the purport. And then it continues here. He was telling citizens of the state must give in charity up to 50% of their income for the purpose of creating spiritual atmosphere. So these instructions, so how it's possible 50% is actually may not be possible. At least some percent of our portion of our income should be given for charity. And then a regular hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam from the authorized persons, and chanting the glories of the Lord congregationally at home and at places of worship. and then rendering all kinds of service to Bhagavatas engaged in the preaching of Srimad Bhagavatam and residing in a place where the atmosphere is saturated with God consciousness. If the state is regulated by above process, naturally there will be a God consciousness everywhere. So Prabhupada here is giving very practical instructions to all the government how to re-establish the lost principles in the age of Kali. So by the way, so coming back to the Kali Purusha, these are the four places. These are the four places: gambling, drinking, prostitution, and slaughterhouse, wherever is it performed. So Kali is going to take shelter of those places. But after he said, Kali said, in the ruling of Parikshit Maharaj, even Kali could not find those places where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. Then he is not able to find. So therefore, he asked one more thing. He said, the personality of religious principles. Oh, sorry. He put here. Okay, I think wrong here. So the personality of Kali asked for something more. And because of his begging, the king gave him permission to live where there is gold, because wherever there is a gold, there is a falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. So Parikshit Maharaj also gave another place where there is an excessive gold. That is where the Kali can stay. So according to Srimad Bhagavatam, gold encourages falsity, intoxication, prostitution, envy, and enmity. Even a gold standard exchange and currency is bad. The gold standard currency is based on falsehood because the currency is not on par with the reserved gold. Here, the basic principle is falsity because currency notes are issued in value beyond that of actual reserve gold. The artificial inflation of currency by the authorities encourages prostitution of the state economy. The price of the commodities becomes artificially inflated because of the bad money or artificial currency notes. So bad money drives away good money. Instead of paper currency, the actual gold coin should be used for exchange, and thus this will stop prostitution of gold. So Prabhupada is giving, see in the purports, there are actually very practical instructions Prabhupada is giving, and practically we see how actually the countries, including United States, their currency notes should be at par with the gold reserves. But in the current situation, they're printing the currency like anything. And what is the result of doing that? Prabhupada said the artificial inflation of currency by the authorities encourages prostitution in the state economy. The prices of commodities becomes artificially inflated because of bad money. Is it not that we are seeing in the current situation in our country now? So Prabhupada is very exact. This is what exactly happening, and Prabhupada is very practically showing this how Kali Yuga is going everything in opposite direction now. And also this let's see, the bull actually represents not only the father, it represents dharma, and cow actually represents the mother, but not only mother, it also represents mother. So dharma have lost 3 legs and now standing on only 1 leg. So beginning Satya Yuga, I think austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness is 100% existing. But the age progresses with the beginning of each yuga, 1 leg is lost. So austerity is lost in Satya Yuga, and then cleanliness is lost in Treta Yuga, and then mercy was lost in Dwapara Yuga. Even Kali Yuga, only 1 element, 1 leg is actually remaining, that is truthfulness. Even truthfulness also doesn't exist 100%, but still there is a truthfulness exists even in the age of Kali. So that is why Srila Prabhupada, when he comes to America, he made the mandatory principles. There are the 4 principles, mandatory principles: no intoxication, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no gambling, so that we can re-establish, at least to some extent, the principles of religion in the age of Kali also. So now we talked about his activities. Now let us talk about little more about his death is also wonderful. So you know that when Parikshit Maharaj, he, of course, everything this happened, we talked about last week also. The activities that happened actually is the will of Lord. It happened according to the desire of the Supreme Lord. So Parikshit Maharaj he went to forest, and then he entered into the hermitage of Shaimika Rishi. And then he was actually running, he was feeling tired, and he was feeling so thirsty, and he was looking for a water. At the moment he saw a sage, Shaimika Rishi, he was asking the Rishi about water. But Shaimika Rishi is completely absorbed in the meditation. He does not have any external consciousness to see what exactly happening in front of him. He doesn't even know, he doesn't realize that somebody came and asking water. But because here Parikshit, he was saying that the king of the world, here he came and he was asking for water, and these sages have any respect towards the king of the world. But he was so angry, and he took out the dead snake, and he garlanded on the hand of Shaimika Rishi. But here, if you see the qualities of Parikshit Maharaj, if you see, he was so humble, and his qualities are actually ultimate qualities he has. But now suddenly, why Parikshit Maharaj acted in this way is maybe because unless it's the will of the Lord, why such a exalted personality, exalted devotee of the Lord, suddenly even acted in that form. So, but by the way, anyway, so Shaimika Rishi did not realize that even somebody is asking for a water. Meanwhile, the son of Shaimika Rishi is a Shrungi. He came. He understand that he came. Somebody came here and he insulted his father. He got so angry, and then we know that he was cursed to death by the bite of the snake bite, and then he will die within the 7 days by that snake bite. So the moment Parikshit Maharaj hear about the curse, but he simply accepted the curse. Just a few minutes before, he was so angry, and then immediately now he was. That's what in purport Prabhupada said. He was not even internally angry towards this Shrungi, because even though for the insignificant act, he was get the curse to die within 7 days by the snake bite. He accepted that curse as a mercy of the Lord. He went to the immediately. He didn't even think about anything. He went to the holy place of the Ganga, and hearing the transit, he was looking for that what exactly I can do so that I can dedicate all these 7 days so that I can achieve the ultimate success of the human form of life. So it does not drink, it does not say anything. And then he suddenly Sukadeva Goswami appeared by the will of the Lord. So, but the point I'll say here, important point. So when he was given distress, he accepted as the mercy of the Lord. But when the same distress was given to the citizens of his kingdom, and then he encountered, he did not even say keep quiet. That is the quality of Vaishnava. See, even though for no reason, even though he was cursed to death, he did not say anything, because when the distress is given personally, he did not respond or react anything. But the same distress in the form of Kali happened to his citizens. He did not keep quiet. He encountered until last minute. He did not want Kali to harm his citizens. That was the quality of the Vaishnava. Paradukka Dukhi. So now, see, why did Lord, if you see, go back, the Lord protected him in the womb of his mother when there is a harm during his birth time. But the same Lord, why did not protect when he was cursed to die? Any thoughts from the devotees? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
So it was the desire of the Lord that he wants Parikshit Maharaj to come back to him and Bhagavatam to be spoken. That's the reason.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, definitely that is one of the reason. Any other things? Thank you, Mataji.
Prabhu, to show his glorious nature on, on how he accepts death also as a, with such, as a gift from God.
Yes,
Or
Prabhu.
release him from this material life, how he perceives that. Yeah.
That is, yes. Yeah, I think Brajesh Pranam Mataji point is correct. And whatever your point is also kind of same point, but is actually both ways, both points are actually correct. Thank you for sharing that, Prabhu and Mataji. Yeah, but if you see here, the saving doesn't mean simply saving this body is actually not protecting a real protection. In one sense, actually, if you see the real protection of the real protection is actually and also why Parikshit took as a mercy of the Lord, both of the things, right? He was actually engrossed and attached to my kingdom. So his thought process is like that. See, the body, one can, we are thinking always how we can protect this body. But the real protection is not like saving the body. The real protection is actually protecting our Krishna consciousnness, protecting our devotional service to the Lord. If that is lost, then everything is lost. That is why even Parikshit immediately, why he did not respond or anything, he realized immediately that I am completely engrossed and attached to my kingdom and my family. So therefore, so I want to detach myself. How I can detach? The detachment is not possible when he was actually attached to his kingdom and his family until last birth. Therefore, the Lord is giving an opportunity for me to detach from myself. That is one thing he was thinking. Second thing, he does not want to interfere with the current of the time. Why he doesn't want to interfere with the current of the time? He knows Kali Yuga is destined to come. Kali is supposed to enter. Kali Yuga is supposed to start. It is going to anyway start. As long as Parikshit is alive, that is not going to happen. So therefore, Parikshit thought that he doesn't want to interfere whatever the current of the time, whatever is destined, that time he doesn't want to interfere with that. But at the same time, he doesn't want to keep quiet when this Kali Purusha enters in his kingdom. So therefore, he doesn't want to happen that. But at the same time, as long as he is living, Parikshit Maharaj is alive there, it is not going to happen. So therefore, he doesn't want to interfere the plan of the Lord. So therefore, he decided that he wants is a mercy of the Lord. And another point, instead of kicking me out of this body one day, at least he gave 7 days of notice to prepare for me to die. See, how many of actually we know that at least Parikshit got 7 days to die so that he prepared well to leaving this body. So how many of us actually, we do not know how many more years is going to stay in this planet. So we do not, when we do not know, so we cannot affect it. Of course, every moment is actually preparation for the death. I'm not denying that fact, but at least Parikshit got 7 days so that he was seriously preparing for his body to leave. So therefore, with all these three reasons, I heard from some of the purports of Bhagavatam and also some lectures, this was the reason Parikshit was considering actually is mercy of the Lord. So I think already 7:50, 10 more minutes is there. I want to cover a few more things and then we're going to end. Here, Prabhupada writes in the purport, to kill cow means that is to end human civilization. So because Kali Purusha is actually giving harm to the bull and cow, that is the reason Parikshit Maharaj got so angry. So he wanted to protect the cow from being killed by the great representative of the sin. So in these purports, the principle of age of Kali, the lowercase Sudras, men without Brahmanical culture and spiritual initiation, will be dressed like administrators or kings, and the principal business of such non-kshatriya rulers will be to kill the innocent animals, especially the cows and bulls, who shall be unprotected by their masters, the bona fide Vaishyas, the mercantile community. So, because of lower caste Sudras are actually ruling today, they don't care about cow production, they don't care about animal killing. So the administrators actually they're dressed like a big administrators, but as Prabhupada said in the purport, they're like Sudras, they're lower class kings, and they don't care about. They're actually promoting this animal slaughtering. And this, I don't want to read this entire purport. I'll continue to next slide, slide time. So I want to spend a little bit time on this topic, because today there is a tremendous exploitation of dairy industry or cow killing or animal killing is happening today. In this purport 17.3, Prabhupada writes in the purport, but in the age of Kali Yuga, the cows are separated from the cows as early as possible for purposes which may not be mentioned in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. The cow stands with tears in her eyes. The Sudra milkman draws milk from the cow artificially, and when there is no milk, the cow is sent to be slaughtered. These greatly sinful acts are responsible for the troubles in present society. People do not know what they're exactly doing in the name of economic development. The influence of Kali will keep them in the darkness of ignorance. Despite all endeavors for peace and prosperity, they must try to see the cows and the bulls happy in all respects. Foolish people do not know how one earns happiness by making cows and bulls happy. But it is the fact by the law of nature. Let us take in the form of authority of Srimad Bhagavatam and adopt the principles of total happiness and happiness of the humanity. So Prabhupada is saying all the problems today we see in the current society is because of not taking care of cows. So in the commercial dairy industry, if you see, in order for a cow to be pregnant, they have to artificially, they are impregnated artificially and raped. And there is so much of stress is given mentally. These cows are so mentally disturbed. So once it is delivered, what they happen immediately, they will take the calf from the mother, and both cow and calf, they both experience so much of separation of pain. They also, even though they are cows, they are animals, they also have emotions, they have feelings, and they have feelings of separation. Generally, the ideal duration of a cow is around 25 to 30 years. Because of this artificial impregnation and because of inflicting so much of pain, they could not able to tolerate, and the duration of the cow is actually reduced to 5 years because of that. And then what will happen when cow is no longer produce milk? They will extract the milk, and the cow is no longer giving the milk. What will they do? They will simply send to slaughterhouse. And not only that, these cows, their cows' horns and they're burned and completely removed, and tails are cut off because they're going to swing and they're going to hit them. So they do not use any anesthesia, and they cut bones and all the parts of the body, and without giving anesthesia. And artificial milking equipment is used, and because it is very painful by using artificial milking equipment. Because of that artificial milking equipment, that's very painful. So to counteract that pain, what they will do? They will actually inject so many their udders and nipples. They get so much of infection, and actually once they get infection, what they do? They're treated with antibiotics, and all the antibiotics, whatever they're using, they will end up finally in the milk. And cows are given hormones to give more milk, to grow faster and to give more milk. They give all kinds of hormones. So this is how this whole dairy industry is kindly exploited. And Prabhupada is actually tearfully saying that despite of all endeavors, peace and prosperity, they must try to see the cows and bulls happy. Because the current Kali Yuga, the administrators or anybody doesn't know how to be peaceful, how to stay in the peaceful. They do not know what was the reason. And because of that, we are experiencing, how can we experience actually peace and harmony in the society by promoting, by encouraging this much of animal killing and exploiting the dairy industry, especially the cows. The Prabhupada always says that other animals are also, we don't encourage, but at least cows should be honored, and otherwise we cannot expect peace and harmony in the society. That is what lacking in today's society. So I will actually going to end a little bit with this slide. In Canto 3, Chapter 328, the perfection of human life is attained by following 3 principles of civilization: protecting the cows, maintaining the Brahmanical culture, and above all, becoming a pure devotee of the Lord. Without becoming a devotee of the Lord, one cannot perfect one's human life. The perfection of human life is to be elevated to the spiritual world where there is no birth, no death, no disease, and no old age. That is the highest perfection of aim of human life. Without this aim, any amount of material advancement in so-called comforts can only bring the defeat of the human form of life. So here, Parikshit Maharaj is actually perfect devotee of the Lord. His birth, his death, his activities are glorious. He was actually protecting the cows. He's maintaining the Brahmanical culture, and also he is a supreme. He become pure devotee of the Lord. That's why he's called Bhagavatottama. He was showing by example, by hearing the glories of Parikshit Maharaj. Actually, we also, our heart also can be cleaned. So because of Parikshit Maharaj, today we are able to relish and understand Srimad Bhagavatam because of his glorious questions and Sukadev Goswami answers. Today we have Bhagavatam, in the pages of Bhagavatam, we can see and relish Srimad Bhagavatam. So even if we simply follow in the footsteps of Srila Parikshit Maharaj, we can get free from all ill effects of Kali Yuga, even we follow simply on the footsteps of Parikshit Maharaj. I think with that, I'm going to end presentation today. Thank you. Sorry for if I spoke anything wrong or any misrepresented. Please kindly forgive me. Please kindly share any realizations that we have. We have still 3 minutes. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you for sharing wonderful practical points from Prabhupada's purport on many aspects. And very passionately you spoke about the cow protection. So it's very moving. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. I think when I'm going through the purports of even I was forced to read chapter 16, 17, and 18 to know, even though we know Parikshit Maharaj glorious little bit, I want to assimilate myself. So if you see the 16, 17, 18, the purports, Prabhupada's heart was actually poured in those purports of those chapters. And we can understand, he actually envisioned how, the great devotee of the Lord, he can envision how the Kali Yuga symptoms, how it is going to happen. And he tried to, he has given his points, he gave practical points, how even in the age of Kali, how we can peacefully live in this world. That is what Prabhupada's intention, to give nice, wonderful points in the purports. Thank you for bringing that.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Babu. Very nice class. Also, I like your explanation on cow killing. In fact, in the purport, when I read, Prabhupada is very clearly saying that to kill cows means to end human civilization.
Yes, Prabhu.
That was so heart-touching to me when I read that. And then I was thinking that maybe if I would be talking on this purport, I'm just going to focus on that one. But then I saw that at the end of the session, you brought some of the points about cow killing. Yes, Prabhu. So you can see that how the civilization is, really about, to be collapsed or getting in a direction where people are losing their brain, their sense, and all types of things are happening. I don't know how the dark dense Kali Yuga is going to look like, but our goal should be just focus very seriously and try to make it our last life. Thank you
Yes.
so much. It was
Yes, thank you,
nice, nice lecture, Prabhu, as usual. Dandavats.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much for the very nice class today, Prabhu. Prabhu, I have a question. It's a practical application question. Recently, the more we hear about how cows are being tortured, it's very painful, very hurtful. Recently also, Lal Prabhu also shared an audio link in the Bhagavatam group, like how cows are being tortured, and you also brought up many points. But the more we hear, it's very practically very difficult living here, especially to get a cruelty-free milk, because milks are like they're using machines to milk the cows. But a couple of things, we are still using the milk. We are still offering that milk Krishna too, because it's very not practical. It looks like we just have to completely two-side something. In one, completely give up milk and milk products while you're living in the US, or when we don't have our homegrown cow, number one. Or number two, on the other hand, we can give some, do something to protect the cows, to some extent. I don't know how that's going to help, but that's one aspect. But the more we hear, it's just heart level, it's just very painful, even just to drink the milk, which is, we know how the cows are being tortured.
Yes.
So practical application, I know we can keep talking about it. Anything you want to share, Prabhu? How we can,
Yeah.
endless topic, but.
Yes, Mataji. I think I will share my thing, and I think Lal Gopal Prabhu is also in the call. I think he will share his points. He will add whatever that I don't know. Yeah, that's a very practical question, Mataji. So even when I was reading, and not only reading, even before also, that was the question. That was the question I also have. How practically that we can do in Kali Yuga. Many of the people that even they're going to store and they're buying milk, they don't even realize how much cruelty is happening behind the bars. Simply we go and buy a milk and get into milk and we use it. But one practical thing generally even in ISKCON community, that is there's the biggest discussion point among the devotees. They were talking. I saw many devotees they talk about on the subject matter. So that is why even our temple we buy generally organic milk. Even I think our temple also buys any function, anything, whatever the milk that is used, even for Abhishekam or even for in the temple preparations, food preparations, whatever is there, still we use to organic milk. And still we do not know, even we buy organic milk, to what extent actually those are free from these ill effects. So, but still we try to buy organic milks, and also propose that ahimsa milk ISKCON is actually in our community that we are proposing. Ahimsa milk, many devotees actually will bring the Gitanagari milk. They will try to consume that milk. But another point why there is a vegan revolution is happening in this USA, because of that reasons. We cannot completely go away from the milk products. We'll try to use ahimsa milk or whatever that organic milk that we will try to use. If at all, if that is not possible, I say my personal opinion that if we cannot use that, better to be away from that normal milk that we are using. So actually, I heard because the vegan industry, they want to go because they're not able to see the torture of the animals. That is why this vegan industry is growing in one sense. I heard one of the news that even they're trying to suppress this vegan movement because they don't want to this dairy industry because if at all, I don't know, it's going to happen like that. Everybody becomes going to be vegan at one point of time. But still, this dairy industry, the people actually doesn't want even vegan industry to grow much. So I think that is the only points that I can think of, Mataji, because beyond that, I do not know much. I am also on the same boat, whatever you are thinking. Maybe Lal Gopal Prabhu can add a few more points, what I'm saying. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Nothing to share from my side. But thank you for the beautiful, nice class, especially emphasizing on, saving the cows, which I think is a key point. I also echo from other feedbacks, the same thing. Thank you for that. I have a question which is different to cows. Is it okay? Do you have time, or we should end it?
Yes, Prabhu, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. So my understanding is that death is predestined. So Lal Gopal is going to live, 50 years, 60 years, whatever it is, until tomorrow. It's been predestined. That's my understanding. The question is, Parikshit Maharaj is also a human being like us. He's a great devotee, but he's also a human being. So if his death has been predestined like us, how does this 7 days thing come into the picture? So can you please help me understand it? First of all, it's my understanding death has been defined that this is how long you live. Is that my understanding is correct? Or if that is wrong, then we can skip this whole question. If it is right, then how do we understand Parikshit Maharaj 7 days case? Thank you.
Thank you, Lal Gopal Prabhu. I think my understanding is also, I do not know, Prabhu, exactly my whatever I am saying is correct or not, but my understanding is that yes, death is predestined for everybody. That is what my understanding also. But as I think as I said before in my presentation, Prabhu, that
Prabhuji, sorry. So before you answer, I just want to make sure my question is again clear. The question is that if it is predestined, just to extend your answer, that's why. If it is predestined, then what about people dying, killing themselves, suicide? And what about yogis who try to prolong their life? They live by doing certain yoga practices. They are extending their life. So how do we understand all this thing? Thank you, Prabhu. I'll stop.
No, Prabhu, I think you know better than me about these answers. But so my understanding is that death is predestined. But what my understanding is that I do not know. I did not hear or I did not read there anywhere. But whatever your examples you said, whether you say you're taking your life before, or yogis extending their life, or in case of Parikshit Maharaj that he was destined to die 7 days, because one reason in Parikshit Maharaj's case is that because he has to end his life there, because Kali Yuga is supposed to come. And as long as Parikshit Maharaj is alive or stay there, I think Kali cannot enter into his kingdom. So therefore, it was a plan of the Lord in one sense that his death is already maybe fixed by that time, even though he was cursed by a sage son, Shrungi. But still, I think his death was predestined to that time. So Shrungi became like an instrument in that cause. That is what my understanding. Maybe wrong, maybe right. I do not know, Prabhu. Similarly, the other cases also, that is anyway predestined. So it happens according to the predestined point. Some maybe they're thinking that they're prolonging their life. Some may be thinking that they're taking the birth before, something like that. But ultimately, death is predestined. Maybe I'm wrong, Prabhu. So please, if you know any further understanding, please kindly share your understanding.
I think you really answered very nicely, Prabhu. Thank you. You said Shringi was an instrument in accelerating the event to happen.
Right.
So I think that's a beautiful point that you made. And many of the curses that we read from Bhagavatam and other Puranas or also the similar way where it is just becomes an accelerating agent for one's karma to get executed at that given time. But one thing needs attention, as you said, that even the yogis who prolong their life, they think they're extending, but they are not. It is also predestined. That is not exact thing, because yogis are special. They are very special, where they have the ability to alter. Not everyone. These are very special yogis, where they can alter their life. For example, Bhishma, right? Bhishma death was completely under his control. It was not predestined that you will die on this particular day. He decided when he wants to die. That's a boon he got. Like that, there are yogis who can adjust their lifespan. Even in the case of Bharadwaja Muni, is a great rishi. So when the time came for him to die, then he prayed to Indra. He said, "My dear Indra, I have not finished reading all the Shastras. Give me another 100 lifetime," something like that. And he said, "Okay, take another lifetime." And then he studied the scriptures. And Indra came and said, "Are you satisfied now? Can you leave your body?" And he said, "Well, I've not completed reading more. There's some more to read the scriptures. So can you give me another 100? He said, "Go for it." Like that, he was keep on extending his life. But then at the end, one point came where Indra said, "Are you ready?" And then Bharadwaja Muni said, "I still have something to read. Can you please give me another extension?" And he said, he took Bharadwaja along with him and showed something quite very interesting. This is story from the scriptures. And then he said, "Can you see this?" And then he saw a very huge mountain where you could not see where the starting is, where the ending, any of those. He could only see the base, but he couldn't see where it's ending in the top. He said, "Do you know what this is?" And then Bharadwaja said, "I couldn't figure out." He said, "This is the scripture. So much scriptures are there. So what you have read," and he shows, Indra shows it, what you read, the size of a rock. He shows a small rock near the mountain of scriptures. That is all you have covered. So you can never finish reading all the scriptures. That's not possible. And then Bharadwaja understood and submitted himself. So the point is, one can extend if they are very special souls. They have the ability to do that. But most of us, majority of us, are driven by karma. That we have to die on a particular time, particular day, and so forth. Whereas the suicidal thing is totally the individual free will. They are misusing that one rather than finishing as per the normal process. They are just making some immature decisions in their life. So that is not predestined. Hope that helps.
Thank you very much for correcting that, Hare Krishna.
Thing to know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I was recently reading some other scripture, and I was under the impression that once we have taken the process of bhakti, our destination is not governed by karma. Rather, and you sent a picture yesterday also, Krishna dragging someone. So I don't know if that's true statement or not. But
no, it's a very true statement. What you're saying is a very true statement, Prabhu. There's nothing to deny on that, provided we are like Bhakta Prahlad.
Right. And then the second part about predestination, yes, that was my impression too, Prabhu. So thank you for clarifying that. In fact, devotees, death is for sure. But how one will die, that can change. Tatat karma parvartate, whatever we have surrendered to Krishna. It's not like that we have taken birth as a neophyte, and the destination that we have as a neophyte is going to be our destination when we become Uttama Bhakta. Then what's the point? So destination for sure. Death is for sure. but how one will die, what's the circumstances will be around at the time of death, all of that, depending on how we are engaged in the process of bhakti, how seriously we have taken. I think that can change. That's some of my kind of learning is. But
that is true. What you're saying is true. Because, for example, Prabhu, many people died in Corona, right? In past 2 years, right?
Yes,
but that means in the scriptures, is there any mention of Corona that this person, so and so, will die in Corona? There's no mention, right? Yeah. But the only thing is mentioned is one will die on this particular time, on particular place, so forth. But how? Somehow they have to die. That's it. But if you have time, I can tell a beautiful 2 minutes.
Yeah. I think we can take, no problem.
Okay. I don't know about others if they have time, but I will stay anyway. Whoever wants to drop, kindly please do not be obligated. Please drop. So in the Purana, there's a beautiful story. Some of you might have heard the story from me in past. So where Yamaraj, he travels. He just travels to a place. Just trying to, he's trying to travel to a particular place where Vaikuntha to see Lord Vishnu. And then near the entrance, before in the entrance, he saw a small sparrow sitting over there, and he glances at the sparrow and smiles, and then goes. And then Garuda sees this one. When Yamaraj glance falls upon us, we know what that means, right? Yeah, that means death is near. So considering compassion towards the sparrow, Garuda thought it has to save the sparrow. So what Garuda did is, he picked a small sparrow from the northern side, somewhere in the northern side. I think it's from Himalaya, Kailash, if I remember. So anyway, so let's see the essence of the story. So he picked a small sparrow and dropped the sparrow into somewhere on the southern side in a beautiful scenery place where the lakes are there, cool breezes there, other sparrows are there, and nicely he left it there and happily returned back to the same spot where he was before, Garuda. After visiting, Yamaraj was returning back, exiting outside. He's coming outside. While he was coming, he turned and saw, but the sparrow was missing. Again, Yamaraj smiled, and then he walked. But Garuda got confused. What is the necessity for Yamaraj to smile now? What's the meaning of the smile? So he stopped Yamaraj. Well, first time you smiled at the sparrow, I understood that your plan for ending the life of the sparrow. Therefore I saved it. But why did you smile this time? And Yamaraj says that, well, as per the karma of the sparrow, I was wondering why the sparrow at this moment is sitting over here on the northern side. In another few more minutes, this sparrow must die on the southern region where the lakes are there, sparrows are there, the rivers are following, things like that. So the snake is going to come and bite, finish it. And thank you for doing a great help for the sparrow to finish his, execute his karma. And Garuda was totally, devastated that he became the cause of death of the sparrow. So yes, as you said, the death is destined, and no one can really change it. But if Krishna wants, he can make adjustment because he is Krishna. If that helps, the story helps in some extent to connect all these things. You all know that sometimes people, for no reason, they get some appointment or whatever. I know in St. Louis, this happened a few years back. There are a bunch of people who are traveling to go for a funeral program, just to attend the funeral programs. And their car got collapsed and they all died. And there's one girl, student, I experienced this when I went and saw their parents also from Rolla University. And her parents were visiting her. She was a student. and they were going on a trip to Chicago or somewhere. And the father was sitting on the aisle side, the window side, and the girl was sitting on the aisle side next to the father. Just 2-3 minutes before, the girl shifted, they swapped, and the girl went onto the window side, and the father was on this next to the girl, and he crashed. The bus crashed. This is that mega bus. This happened just a few years back in St. Louis. The bus, mega bus, crashed on the bridge. On the highway, you see small bridges connecting the roads, right? It got hit, and exactly on that side where the girl was sitting, and only she was dead. The father survived with some small scratches. So yeah, just Krishna makes it happen if it is to happen. Now, none of us have any control. We speak so much, we do so much, but then we never know when the time comes. Thank you, Prabhu. I took a long time.
Thank you. No. That's the intent of the this session in the morning. It's nice that we are having some back and forth discussion, learning from each other. It's very good, Prabhuji. Thank you. So, dear devotees, I would just like to thank you so much, Prabhu, Brajana Prabhu. Thank you for your class. I just wanted to make some announcement. So, dear devotees, I have 1 or 2 announcements. If you can give me 2 minutes. So the first thing is that I don't think that we are going to get rid of this online thing. As you know that this is going to be a new tool that we will be using for some of the programs and for the preaching also. But we are also more of a personal type of aspirer. Our aspiration is we always aspire to be personal. So it's always nice if we kind of get more engaged and hear and see each other. So this is my humble request that going ahead in future, we'll try to make sure that we are keeping the camera on so that at least we are kind of engaged. This is my personal impression that I'm more engaged when I'm kind of, on the camera. So plus, kind of, for the audience and a speaker also, it's kind of more engaging. So this is one of my requests that going ahead, even for the evening session, if we can have our camera on, that'll be really nice. The second thing is that tomorrow we are going to have Rama Navami. We have our own new deity, and there will be Abhisheka. Drama is going to happen. We are, starting the program at 4:30. So 4:30 we will start and go all the way until 8:30. So almost 4 hours long program, and it's Rama Navami day. So please, come early by 4:30 or so, and with full enthusiasm be part of the program all the way until 8:30. Also today around 2 to 5, we are going to have some decoration in the temple. So if anybody would like to just show up, and Bina Mataji is going to lead that service. So if you just want to show up there and help Mataji, you are more than welcome to do so. But please for tomorrow, planning your day so that you can come and stay longer. Rama Navami, that's powerful day. So with that, I would like to conclude this morning session. Thank you so much, everybody, for being part of the discussion today. Hare Krishna. But we can chant Vaishnava Pranams, Prabhu, Brajana Prabhu, and then we can adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu bhaveva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Assembled Bhakti Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.